we tried to see up to indexing in identifying index terms and then making ready the actual document published by the author's world for searching. Once the document collection that exists at the author's side is indexed, that means searching can be initiated. So now the next task is, once we have an index file which contains a summarized list of words that are describing the document collection, then the next step is searching. And to conduct searching, it should be done
Hello,
as
doctor.
fast as possible. It should be done with minimal space requirement, effectively and efficiently.
Hello, doctor.
In fact, the indexing part is an offline process that can be done without user interaction. It can take whatever time it wants to take, since there is no interaction with the users. But the searching part, since it needs an interaction, since it is an online process, it has to be as fast as possible for the users. በጣም ስሎ የሆነ ሲስተምን የሚፈልግ ሰው የለም። ስለዚህ ሰርችንግ ፓርቱ ፋስት መሆን አለበት። to make it fast, we have to have a strategy. We have to have a model that can simplify the searching process and that can guide how to design the searching part. So that's why we need IR models. IR models will try to help us to systematically do the searching part, such that when we are even designing the system for the searching part, we have to follow the IR model. When we are indexing, we didn't identify this term is or this word is important or not. We don't know which word is more important for which document. If you see the inverted file, we just only organize information that we captured from each document. Term frequency, document frequency, location, this term is available in this document list. More than that, we didn't go. But now we have to know, on the one hand, which term is more important for which document. Then we have to identify which documents are more relevant for a given query. And we have to also identify which document is more relevant than which document for that given query, because all documents are not equally relevant for all queries. So we need the IR model on the one hand to identify which words are more important for representing which document. Once we identify the importance of the word in representing a given document, then when we start searching for relevant documents for a given query, also we have to start measuring the similarity between the document and the query. Even if documents are relevant for a given query, again, they are not equally relevant for that query. So we have to also rank the relevance of the document for a given query. The most relevant document should appear at the top of the list, and the least relevant document should appear at the bottom of the list. To do these things, we need an R model, a model that can help us how to conduct the searching, how to measure the importance of the word in representing a document, how to identify relevant documents for a given query, how to rank as per their relevance documents for a given query. So basically, there are three major things that we have to do during searching. Identify importance of the term in representing a given document. Then we have to measure the similarity of documents with a given query. Then we have to rank those relevant documents for a given query. So already our language in our system is associated word label. So from the query also we are trying to detect words, especially query terms. Terms that are important for representing a given document, a given query, like we do for index terms. Once we have a list of terms that are representing the document, that are representing the query, then we can form term means word document matrix or term word query matrix. So that will solve for us the way we are measuring the importance of the terms, the way we are measuring the similarity between document, using the terms in that document against the query, using terms in the query. At the end of the day, we are comparing terms in the document against terms in the query. But still, which one, what kind of strategy is followed depends on the IR model. But we are expecting the IR models to solve for us, on the one hand, measuring the importance of the term, on the other side, identifying similar documents with the query. Finally, which document is more relevant, should be given more emphasis than which document, which relevant document for that given query. So basically, the IR model will try to solve for us the three major problems that we have during searching. There are many IR models available, but mainly nowadays vector space model is given much emphasis because we will see later there are criteria that we have to use. It fulfills all the criteria. It can help us how to identify important terms, words for representing a given document. It uses the right strategy, the right technique. It also applies similarity measurement. It also tries to prioritize or rank documents as per their relevance. Nowadays also probabilistic R models are attempted by different researchers. There are also knowledge-based, there are also linguistics-based R models, but they are taking much time during searching. Still, the fastest one is vector space, even as compared to probabilistic. So still searching is done using vector space model by most of the search engines or information retrieval systems. In general, from an R model, we are expecting the following major step-by-step procedures. The R model is first map document and the queries into term document vector space. So it lists terms against document and the queries. Terms are listed column-wise, documents are listed row-wise, such that the terms are intersecting with document, and the intersection point between term and the documents are filled with weights. What kind of weight to use is one of the issue now. Once we construct the term document matrix, which tries to list out the list of terms against the list of documents, then the internal relationship, intersection between terms and the document in that matrix, the cells are weighted. For weighting, we have mainly two techniques, binary and non-binary. Binary means just assigning zeros and ones. If the term appears in a given document, assign it 1. If the term doesn't appear in that document, assign it 0. In the case of non-binary, we will take into account the frequency of occurrence of every terms in every document. Frequency means it may be term frequency, document frequency. Based on term frequency and document frequency, we can calculate inverse document frequency, term frequency, inverse document frequency, which is called TF, IDF, and the well-known one. But it requires non-binary. If the information retrieval model is supporting only binary weight, it's very difficult to calculate the term frequency, inverse document frequency. Term frequency, inverse document frequency can be calculated if we are using non-binary weight and if the IR model is allowing us to use non-binary weight. Finally, using those weight of terms against document, since we already constructed a matrix, we can construct for every document vector based on the terms, row-wise, that means. Finally, we are using a vector which is constructed based on the list of terms based on their weight to represent every document. So every documents are represented by a vector of weight that are telling us the importance of every terms for representing that document. So we are at the end of the day constructing a vector representing each document and each queries. So we are comparing documents against queries using the weight, which is constructed based on the terms. Then similarity measurement will tell us which documents are relevant for which query. Since all documents are not equally relevant, we have to rank them. For ranking, we are using best matching principle. But still, which IR model helps us to apply partial matching, which IR model applies us to apply best matching, depends on, again, the IR model that we have. But any IR models, to begin with, they are trying to construct term document matrix. Term column-wise, document row-wise, or possible the other way also. The major thing is, for every document, we want to construct vector space. So every documents are represented by n vectors. N is the size of the terms. So in general, we have a list of terms in our index file. Take all in the index terms. Then take also all documents plus queries. Then internally weight them by looking at how the term is appearing in each document. But again, the frequency that we are taking depends on, are we using binary weight or non-binary weight? In the case of binary weight, W11, W12, W1N, or W21, W22 are zeros and ones. 1 means the term already exists within document. 0 means the term doesn't exist within the document. So in binary weight, the W's are either 0 or 1. But in non-binary weight, the name itself is non-binary. That means we are taking into account the frequency of occurrence of the term in each document and also across the document collection. So which IR model to use? Which IR model to use depends on which one is suitable for our information retrieval system. To identify the IR model, we have certain criteria to take into account. One is the weighting technique supported by the IR model. As we said, we have two weighting techniques. Either we have a binary or non-binary. Binary, those are models which are using the binary weight. Those which are using the IR model with binary are just dependent on zeros and ones. But those IR models which are using non-binary are dependent on the frequency of occurrence of the terms. Which one is more important to tell us? Because we need the weighting technique to tell us the importance of the term in representing a given document. If you are using a binary, just it considers only the appearance of the term in a given document. But if you are using non-binary, it takes into account the frequency. One term or word may be appearing in a given document 1 times, or 2 times, or 3 times, or 4 times. Which term is more important for that given document? As the frequency increases, the term becomes more important in that document, rather than considering all terms are important in a given document using binary weight. It's better to go for non-binary weight such that we can take into account the frequency of occurrence of every terms in every document. So as a result, it's better to go for IR models that are supporting non-binary weight. Why? Because the non-binary weights are giving us not only the appearance of the term in a given document, but also how many times that term appears in that given document. As the frequency of occurrence of the term in a given document increases, the term becomes more important to represent that document. But still, we are not only dependent on the term frequency. That tells us the frequency of occurrence of the term in a given document. We have to also see across the document in how many of the document that term appears. As we said in our beginning classes, a word, we can get a read-only word, a word which only appears in one document or in few of the document. That means in limited number of documents. There are also words that are frequently occurring in most of the document. There are also words that are infrequently appearing, but covers some of the document. So we have a document that are appearing near to one. There are words that are appearing near to one document. There are words that are appearing in some of the document. There are words that are appearing in most of the words. In majority of the documents, we can say. So we have mainly 3 classes of words. Words that are appearing only near to one document. There are words that are appearing in some of the document. There are words that are appearing in majority of the document. So such kinds of measurement we need. Like if you use document frequency, it will tell you whether the term is appearing in near to one document, in some of the document, or in the majority of the document. Near to 100%, that means. If we know that information, you can go for the words that are only appearing in some of the document. So in addition to considering the occurrence of the term in a given document, we have to also consider the occurrence of the words across the document collection. As the frequency of the word in a given document increases, the importance of the term or the word increases. But at the same time, we have to see also as the frequency of the word across the document collection increases, the importance of the term increase or decrease? Decrease. Because if the word is appearing in most of the documents, that means what? The word has less discriminatory power to identify which document is relevant for a given query or not. So taking the information that tell us the term frequency, that tell us the document frequency, and measuring by combining the two will give us a better measure of which terms are more important for us. Like if the term frequency increases and the document frequency increases, that term is what? It is a stop word or common word because it is appearing frequently in one document and also it's appearing frequently across the document collection. But if a term is frequently appearing in a given document, but it's only available in some of the documents, that means what? That term is a content-bearing term. But also see, a term is appearing infrequently, maybe only one time in a given document. And if that term is not also appearing in most of the document, it only appears in near one document. That term is what? A read-only term. So as I said, we don't need to read only one terms. If a term is appearing only in near one document, in 1, 2, 3, and if the term is frequently appearing in most of the document, we don't need them. Because if it is a common term or stop word, it has no discriminatory power. What about if the term is only read only one? It only identify for us just few documents, one or two or three documents. And in IR, we have to give more options for the users. As a result, we don't need a term that helps us only to identify 1, 2, 3 or few documents near to one document. We need terms that helps us to identify not near to one document and near to n document. We need terms that are identifying in between them. As a result, we need a non-binary weight that helps us to come up with a technique that helps to identify terms that are representing some of the document. Not all document or near to all document or near to one document. We need terms that are representing some of the document. So when we are selecting weighting techniques, we have to give care. The other thing is what matching technique to use to see the similarity between document and query. Whenever users are providing a query, we have to see the similarity of that query with the document to identify relevant documents. Again, for that, can we go for what kind of similarity, dissimilarity measure? One, is that better to go for similarity or dissimilarity? Our major aim is identifying similar document with the query, not dissimilar document with the query. In fact, whether you are using similarity or dissimilarity measure, The only difference is similarity measurements are giving highest value for a document similar with the query. But the similarity measurements are giving high score for those documents which are dissimilar or irrelevant for the query, or less relevant for the query. So when we are using the matching techniques, we have to identify a matching technique which helps us to identify relevant document, similar document with the query. So we have like a cosine measurement, a dot product measurement that can directly measure the similarity of the document with the query and give the highest score for those similar document with the query. Again, the matching techniques are either exact match or partial match. Like in our database management system, we are using exact match. That means the database management system is identifying records that are directly related to the query, the structured query that we provide. So it is strictly identifying only those records matching with the query. But when we come to information retrieval system, they are searching in unknown world. The author's world, the reader's world are not using similar type of query terms as compared to document terms. The author world is using its own ways of writing. The query worlds are using their own ways of writing. So the IR system is playing with an uncertain world. So it's expected to predict which documents are more important for which user's query. So rather than exact match, it's better to go for partial match. The IR system has to identify using the similarity measurement or the matching technique documents that are containing at least one query term, at least one query term. So it's trying to identify a document containing one query term, two query term, three query term, n query term. So for that, we need a partial matching, a matching that at least tries to identify a document containing one query term, two query term, three query term, starting from one query term. If I'm searching for information retrieval, it has to identify a document containing information. It has to identify a document containing retrieval. It has to identify a document containing both information retrieval. As a result of which, as a person, as a user who is searching for document, the R system will give me documents containing information, documents containing retrieval, documents containing both information and retrieval. So as a result of which, I'm getting more options from which I can select the relevant document that can satisfy my information need. So in our system, we are preferring partial matching. If there is partial matching, there should be best matching. Best matching means sorting the relevant documents identified by partial matching in terms of their similarity score with the query, because all documents are not registering equal similarity square with the query. Those documents which are containing all the query terms are getting a better similarity score than those documents containing one query term. Accordingly, which documents are more relevant? The one which are containing all query terms as compared to those which are containing few of the query terms. In the worst case, the document containing one query term is the least relevant than a document containing all the query terms. So we have to give the highest priority for a document containing all the query terms. So through sorting, we have to rank. Rank means those documents containing most of the query terms should come as the top of the list by looking their similarity score. So those documents registering the highest similarity score should appear as the top of the list when we are retrieving for users the relevant document. So we are evaluating using those criteria. One of the earliest information retrieval model is the Boolean model. The name itself is Boolean model. Means it is using Boolean operators like or, and, not. So the matching technique is the use of the logic Boolean operators or logic operators. And since it is Boolean model, it also uses binary weight. That means if the term or the word exists in a given document, it assigns 1. If the term or word doesn't exist within the document, it assigns 0. So applying binary weight means knowing the presence and absence of a given term or a given word in a given document. First, as we said earlier, the term document matrix is constructed, and then the intersection point between terms in a document. The cells are labeled with zeros and ones. If term 1 is appearing in document 1, W11 is 1. If term 2 doesn't appear in document 1, W12 is 0. So at the end of the day, we have zeros and ones as a weight in binary weight, which is used by Boolean model. So it is using that binary weight for identifying relevant document. Then after weighting every terms in every document, so it is trying to use those zeros and ones as a vector representing a given document, DI. So the similarity